On New Year's Day 2000, the world was presented with a startling revelation. Magic was real, and so were the witches and wizards that wield it. As world leaders met with the elders of the magical community, collectively known as the Ministry of Magical Arts, a new era of opportunities quickly became apparent. The landscape of society began a rapid transformation as magic was introduced into the sciences. It wasn't long before wizards and witches had their wands into civil engineering. Soon after, the dangers of this rapid transition became apparent.
The Oceanside Park building disaster was a defining moment in the integration of magical engineering.
The wizard in charge of the Ocean Park residents put a standard structural enhancement spell in place, securing what would have otherwise been insufficient building materials. Everything was fine until the wizard suddenly died and the spell was negated.
It was clear that regulations and oversight needed to be implemented.
And those regulations and oversights were seen through. And for nearly 20 years, architects, engineers, and the magical world created amazing modern structures. Until tragedy struck. It was the morning of September 3rd, 2019. The seaport village of Naporia was operating as usual, with workers shipping and receiving the normal deliveries of rice, grain, and unobtainium. And then at 10:18 a.m., the Starfall Bridge suddenly collapsed.
In a matter of seconds, the entire bridge came down.
I was just having some street breakfast and I heard this popping sound. And so I looked over at the bridge and the bridge just fell down, bam. I dropped my rat burrito, ruined my whole day, man.
I was busy sorting Fraudulin when I sensed a disturbance in the air. Seconds later, I heard the crash. I felt the loss of life in my womanhood. I haven't been able to accept a man since.
Natural or magical, it was a tragedy what happened, and it could have been avoided.
Tragically, 6 people on the boats beneath the bridge died in the incident. However, they were successfully reanimated as ghoul laborers. The driver of the lorry did manage to survive.
I was in charge of the event at Naporia. It was a tragedy. The rescue efforts saved the driver of the truck that was crossing the bridge at the time of the collapse. The same could not be said of the boatman the bridge collapsed upon. An immediate investigation was launched.
As this was the first engineering catastrophe since the integration of magic into construction, naturally everyone wanted to know who was to blame, engineers or magicians.
Following the Oceanside building collapse, a series of magical redundancies were implemented to ensure that enhancement spells outlived their respective sorcerers.
Humans, of course, wanted to blame the incident on the ministry. It was unfortunate what the investigation turned up.
A collaborative investigation ensued, with both natural and magical investigators looking into what exactly caused the collapse.
The Starfall Bridge was a bifurcated single-arch bridge. 13 high-tension cables held up the main platform, attached to steel buckets embedded in the frame of the structure.
Normally, these buckets would have holes drilled into the bottoms to allow the collection of water to drain.
However, an anti-corrosion spell was placed on these cables, nullifying the need for these drain holes.
As seawater collected in these buckets over the years, the cables would slowly erode. But these cables had been enchanted to protect against erosion. So what went wrong? First, we must look at the magical redundancies that were in place.
The Ministry of Magical Arts put in place a review process that made standard spell redundancies mandatory every 5 years. Each redundant spell had to be performed by a different witch or wizard. So in the event that one of these magical engineers died, as was the case with the Oceanside Park disaster, that the spells wouldn't be affected.
Upon the initial investigation, these spells were found to be intact.
But the investigation proved that these cables had indeed failed, evident by the footage of the collapse. The first cable broke away as the semi-truck entered the bridge, which put additional strain on the next cable, and so on. They fell like dominoes.
The initial cause of the failures had been found: eroded cables. But what happened?
A standard anti-erosion spell consists of a well-measured mixture of ashwinder egg and flobberworm mucus. However, according to records, during the redundancy spells implemented 3 years earlier, the spell was conducted using flobberworm heart.
This was the fatal mistake.
Why flobberworm heart was used instead of flobberworm mucus is just dumbfounding. It was a huge blow for the Ministry of Magical Arts.
With the cause of the collapse now discovered, plans to prevent this from happening again were now underway.
Despite the tragedy, the Starfall Bridge collapse exposed some very important flaws in our methodology regarding structural enhancement spells.
I really wanted it to be a mistake by the Muggles.
The failure of the Starfall Bridge will go down as a pivotal moment in the integration of magical and natural engineering. But lessons were learned, and hopefully this type of tragedy will never happen again.
With new procedures in place and revised safety measures implemented, the tragedy here on September 3rd, 2019 will hopefully never be repeated. The people of Naporia will never forget the lives lost, and the new bridge is set to open on November 11th, 2022.
To forget what happened would be a recipe for a repeat failure. To learn from what happened is the way to prevent it.
To take cardboard and make it as strong as concrete. This is something only a witch engineer can do, as long as they get the spell right.
The people of Naporia look to the future, where wizards and humans work together to build the best possible engineering feats, safely, responsibly, and with the ability to stand the test of time.
As the worlds of magical and natural engineering continue to coexist, one thing is certain. No matter who is in charge, there will always be radical innovations, and there will always be mistakes. We will learn from the mistakes, and only time will tell what engineering marvels are still to come.